Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another scene in Death of a Dark Crusade Season 2. Tonight, we once again return to the outskirts of Odessa, back within the wilds on the southwest side. Once again, upon the mansion of the Gaian Primogen, who is to have a swift briefing by her child on the current state of affairs, as he is presumably let in once again, as this has become something of a routine. And yeah, Thorvuld, you are, well, you know where to find Primogen's mansion, her estate. You you are given entry, as at this point, I mean, you've always been recognized, but even a lot of the mortal servants who are just so far down the totem pole as to be unnoticeable, even they've come to recognize you as something of a familiar face at this point. The gates opened for you long in advance, and yeah, you're let in, and you're let into precisely the same room where you met the Primogen before. She just kind of sits on the same chair, and really just kind of awaits your words at this point.
Thorvald goes through the same procedure that he's done for centuries. When he was a ghoul and when he was human and now he enters the his sire's chamber, and when he gets there, he drops down to the floor, kneeling on the ground in front of her and lowering his head. My Primogen, he says, sort of softly, more softly than Thor's usual, quite domineering tone, I suppose.
My child.
I have come to give you a progress update.
She gestures as if for you to continue.
He he finally sort of looks up, though he doesn't look her directly in the eye. I have become familiarly, intimately acquainted with the Toreador Primogen. I believe that Margot will afford me very many pieces of information that occur in court. She has given me a bond of trust and set me a few minor tasks, including investigating some of the murders that have taken place in the Guildhall. I wish to make our position in court as strong on my side, on the side of the neonates, as you surely make it as our Primogen. Though it is helpful to me to know what goes on inside the court walls, so that I can know how to better maneuver myself in the city and be of better use. I can't expect to tax your time with current updates as you're busy enough. Madeline is very resistant to the taking of the blood, to, I believe, the point of violence, where she does not even trust me, who she considers closest in her life, with all of her endeavours, and her thirst for violence and degradation has increased recently. I'm having to be more careful within her walls than I have been previously. Her recent request for an expansion of domain from the prince was denied, and I've seen obvious signs that she has fallen in favour and in power in the city. Which is why I've chosen to focus some of my attentions on the Thorvuld Primogen, who is, whilst not totally favoured due to her past, has slightly more influence at court and with the nobles' quarter. He's finished, and he just waits.
In regards to Madeleine, it is likely in your interest to begin separating from her. If she is not willing to engage with you further, then your two options are to simply force the issue or to encourage a response by turning from her completely until she is willing to play to your tune. As for the Toreador, Imogen, I shall keep you informed as to any matters involving her that you need to be aware of.
He nods.
To find she is agreeable. I certainly bear her no ill will, at least.
She's far more agreeable than Madeline. Certainly more gullible and susceptible to my charms.
There's a sort of brief pause as she looks directly at you, but it doesn't really last.
Thorvuld sighs and says, "It's easy to be hollow with women that are not you."
I suppose Toreador are easily entertained.
He nods. And until I am able to gather more power in the neonate ranks, I offer my services around to gain trust. I'm working closely with Memnon, who has recently become Hound.
I see. Well, in which case, continue your investigations into the murders in the guild halls. There are several who are already involved.
My endeavour is to bring honour and pride to our clan and to our lineage through my actions. I live only to honour you, my sir. He does look at her then briefly, just because he doesn't get to see her that often, and the blood bond's a thing.
Yeah. I should open up this code real quick. Whoops. Never do this. Okay. Okay, she's very good at this.
What's she doing? Which Discord are you in?
Let's roll a 2.
I just heard you say she's really good at this, and it's quite disconcerting.
Well, I mean, she only got 3 successes, so I mean, by really good, I mean she has literally 10 dice.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can roll against that. Just roll perception.
What is it? Hang on. I have to wait. Wait a second, because dice roll is loading. Dice roll 2.
She didn't actually. She rolled 2 1s, or she would have gotten 5 successes. But, yeah. This is quite beatable.
It's not. I'm not great at perception empathy.
Yeah. I mean.
Oh, actually, I'll tell a lie. I got 4.
Or I mean, yeah. I mean, you can see through the facade. She looks pleased with you, but something about the way she looks at you feels a bit off. Like maybe she's comes across as a bit exaggerated or rehearsed.
Is there something troubling you?
Not in the slightest.
Thorvuld doesn't look all that convinced. He's remained knelt this whole time, so he's really looking up at her. He doesn't stand, but it's fairly plain to see that he's not. He sort of frowns a little bit.
Do you
Well,
doubt me?
no.
Well then.
I show concern, that is all. For your well-being and your happiness.
There is no mal. Oh, sorry.
Big gap, and then we both speak at the same time.
Well, he'll just say there is no malady that confronts me that I cannot deal with.
Most assuredly.
If you wish to investigate the matter of the murders, there is the sheriff, his hound Aldrich, and I believe he has several volunteers from both Yansilla and neonate ranks.
Thorvuld wrinkles his nose when Aldrich is mentioned. Almost involuntarily, like a bad smell.
Normally she'd take issue with that, but it is a Tremere.
Yeah, that's why he does it.
Yeah, it's probably the one time we can get away with it.
Gangrel and the Tremere, not friends, ever.
Not friends here. Yeah.
His face straightens again and he nods. I've requested an audience with the sheriff, so I will pledge myself to his party if he will accept me.
Good, I'm glad to see that you continue to perform. And she will feed Thorvuld more of her blood if he accepts.
He will, because, you know, the blood bond is a thing and you like being close to that person. So.
And it's tasty.
And it's delicious as fuck.
Yeah, it is extremely yeah, like it's better than Madeleine's blood.
It's fairly potent, I imagine, considering how old she is.
Mm.
He'll feed from her and you know, as usual, he just sort of it's the one time she'll see his sentiment. Not that she's susceptible to it, but it is there.
Mm. She'll play along as a shield. I'll have a roll for it there. She does get 2 successes because she's a specialty. But she's not rolling very well.
Playing along.
Playing along.
He's not gonna do it, you know. He just enjoys the fleeting intimacy with his sire. Once it's all said and done, he knows to remove himself to go back into action.
Yep. And you head on out. She's a few servants will see you out, and yeah. And I believe Thorvuld has one last errand to run involving the guild halls.
Yeah, he's gonna have to go back into the city because his sire's domain's in the wilds. So probably by the time he gets back there, it's fairly late in the evening.
Yeah, it's probably middle of the night. If he went to see his sire first thing.
Yeah. Hmm. Just gonna go and see if there's any. I know that some of the people hang around at Margot's bathhouse. That's what I've been told in character. Some of the neonates hang around there. Toreador neonates, that is.
Oh, Sonny Margot should be rolling subterfuge checks. That's not true.
I'm a lot of things apparently that are not true. So, but I do not know they are not true, and therefore we'll follow. We'll just see whether or not I see in the general area of the guild hall any Toreador neonates or anything occurring at this time. Because what I really need to do is join in with the plot, but I promised that I would look into it, have a look around the guild halls at night, and therefore I'm doing it.
Yeah, there is one person that'd be there. There is one person that'd be there.
I only know Luftig.
Well, it's not him.
Thank God for that, because he's a knob.
No bully, Leafy. No bully. Everybody, I feel bad for Leafy. Yeah, there is one person there. She's actually just leaving.
Okay. He will try and catch her attention and say, "Pray a moment of your time, my lady."
Probably taller than her, so she kind of turns around, looks up slightly, her eyes flatten a little bit and narrow, and just says, "Who are you?"
My name is Thorvuld. I am a friend of Margot's.
Not dressed like that, you're not.
He smiled. He doesn't seem to take it personally. He says, your Primogen enjoys my roguish charm, but I've not come to speak to you about fashion."
She kind of just looks a little bit disdainfully at Thorvald.
Thorvald's used to it. He just says, I hear that there have been murders, killings in the guild halls of late. What do you know of this? Your Primogen has asked me to turn my soldier's eye on the area to ensure the safety of your patronage.
One moment, I'm just looking something up. Never heard of you.
I don't expect you would have. I am the child of Gaia Radioclassis, Primogen of Clan Gangle. But due to my youth and such, I do not attend court.
Well, child of a gangrel primogen, if we're looking to investigate murders, I would suggest heading in the direction of Riverside.
A smile, it's a very thin smile, forms on Thor's lips. Why do you say that?
Well, I don't know. Have you been listening to the news spreading around town? There's a dozen murders there every day.
Seems your murderer here has a taste for finer beauty than those that litter the slums. And if robbery is not his aim, which would be a man of Riverside's aim, he would not kill and not take the jewels. I wonder what is the purpose of his slaughters.
What jewels? The victims aren't rich.
Thor just sort of indicates around with his hand because just plainly being in the guild halls is richness to him. Like she's probably saying they aren't rich, and Thor's like, well, they're wearing fancy clothes. They're richer than me. He nods and he goes, "Thank you for speaking with me." Feeling the uncomfortableness rise in his throat because speaking to nobles and ladies is never something that he was used to doing.
Well then, if you excuse me, I have to get myself out of this dreadful breeze.
He nods. He doesn't.
She's a little bit uncomfortable being out, mainly because it's dusty outside and it's
He
not good for her
he stands
clothes.
aside. He doesn't. He just sort of stands aside and bows his head politely so that she can pass.
And she will. As you run into a, unfortunately, unfairly uncooperative Toreador. But
Thor's not. Like he wasn't expecting a Toreador to be pleasant to him. I mean, Mark
well.
is, but you know, Toreadors and stuff. That's how they are.
In any case,
He will go and wait to speak to Margot, but I will PM Nelson about that.
yeah, and I think with that section of questioning done, we can end the scene there. Thank you for playing. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you all next time.
Praise